Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Rob's Little Blue Book. And tonight we are doing a couple of things. We're going to do a Chili's Rellenos tonight. Change the stream name. That's too late now. Thought I did. Anyway, we're doing Chili's Rellenos tonight. And we're trying out a new mic. I'm hoping this will isolate some of the cooking sounds from the stream. We're going to see how that works. And we're going to start with the cocktail again. I know we said we were dropping the cocktail, but I was kind of inspired this week for a couple of reasons. So we're going to start with a riff on the Negroni. So let's do that first, and then we'll get into the rest of it. Okay, so a Negroni, as you know, or maybe you don't, was originally created somewhere in Italy, somewhere around 1910, 15-ish. The old legend goes that Italian Count Camillo Negroni, of course, wasn't happy with the strength of his Americano. And Americano is Campari, vermouth, and soda. He thought it wasn't a strong enough drink for him, and so the bartender substituted gin for the soda, and Negroni was born. But like any cocktail, you can riff on them by changing the base spirit. And one really popular one from the Negroni was substituting mezcal for gin. This is what we're going to do tonight. So mezcal is not tequila. Tequila and mezcal are different. The main difference is that in mezcal, the agave plants are roasted in a big wood-burning oven thing before they fermented it. So it becomes a much more smoky flavor. It's kind of like, I don't want to say Mexican whiskey, but it kind of is. So that's what we're going to do tonight. It's a really simple drink to make. You make it in a jug. You can make it in a metal one or a glass one. And it's a built drink. So we are going to start with, and it's equal parts of everything. So I'm going to go with 1 ounce of each. All right. So this is Zignum. You guys can see. Yeah, I tried to set up the stream name, and I can't change it now. It's a little late. Maybe I can edit it in the comments later. What does the stream name say? Or is did I put the wrong cocktail in? Anyway. Hey, Nick. Okay, I'm using Dolan Vermouth tonight. You can pretty much use any vermouth you want. Don't use Martini and Rossi. It's kind of gross. Tortelloni. Okay, I have no idea why that happened. I did change it. Anyway, so for tonight, Chili's Rellenos is going to be Mexican tortelloni. And then, of course, Campari. There we go. And we're going to give this a stir. As you all know, we stir our drinks for at least 10 seconds, and after that, you kind of hit the point of diminishing returns, both in terms of cooling the drink and dilution. So we'll give it a good solid 10. By the way, if you go longer than 10, your drink won't become... Okay, we'll have to figure that out. If you go longer than 10, your drink won't become any more diluted, because once the ice and the drink match temperatures, the ice won't melt anymore. I mean, okay, wait an hour, so, but you can wait a few extra seconds. You're not going to hurt yourself. Okay. And, oh yeah, cool thing for the week. I'm going to show you the cool thing. While this cools, this was a gift from J Cubed, Jenny, Justin, and Jonah. It is a handmade glass by a neighbor of theirs. You guys can really see, but it is has Everest. Can I make it focus? There you go. It has Everest molded inside the glass, and the glass is a beautiful weight. And it's just a perfect size rock glass. Very thrilled to have it. I have 2 of them. They're a gift, and they're just lovely. So let's try this out. This will be a first for me. I haven't I haven't ever made one of these before. So cheers, everybody. And we have a lot of ground to cover, so I'm just going to do a quick sip of this and take on. And that's really good. To be honest, though, I think I would have to taste this side by side with a regular gin Negroni. Campari is very bitter, and it sort of dominates the flavor of the drink. So that is it's a great drink, for sure, and it is a really great color. But honestly, like, I think if I wasn't told, I would be hard pressed to tell that from a gin Negroni. So interesting. If the drinks taste the same, there's no point in spending $100 on a bottle of mezcal. I was kind of hoping for, I don't know, some more smoky flavor or something, or more of like a whiskey or a nose on it or something. Anyway, there you go, guys. That's the mezcal Negroni. I'm going to not put that in the win column, but it's not an out-and-out horrid failure like okay. Now let's we got to rip through this because we have a lot of ground to cover. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to whip up a quick tomato sauce because you serve it on a better tomato sauce. And we're going to do like a Mexican style. By the way, this is a vegetarian dish, or it can be vegetarian, because we're just going to stuff the peppers with cheese. You can stuff them with a pork mix as well, but we're not doing that tonight. Now I am using, I'm going to use lard here. Obviously, if you're doing vegetarian, just some kind of neutral oil. I'm using lard for this because it gives this tomato sauce like a particular Mexican flavor. It's kind of Mexican tomato sauce. And while that lard is heating up, I'm going to get my... By the way, this is very much... I have made these a long time ago, but this is not going to be one of those streams where I'm preparing a dish I've made a million times before and showing you guys it's unique. This is very much like an experiment alongside Rob, and we'll see how it goes. Anyway, I'm just going to dice an onion real quick. Get a little bit of that. I decided I would do most of the prep with you guys. Just 'cause that's fun. And this straight in it. We're also doing the speed version of a tomato sauce. So I've said this before in other streams. You know, we're moving a little quicker here on stream because I don't want to make you guys watch me brown onions for 10 minutes. This part should normally take about 10 minutes-ish. We're going to go a little bit faster than that. But this is a very straightforward tomato sauce. So the one thing that's going to be different with this tomato sauce versus, say, like an Italian tomato sauce, the classic Marcella Hazan one, which is just tomatoes, butter, and onion, pretty much, is we are going to be adding chicken broth. And again, if you're doing vegetarian, vegetable broth is fine. Don't use like a beef broth, but we're going to thin the sauce. We're going to reduce the sauce and thin it at the very end with a little bit of broth to give it the consistency we want. So, any questions so far? I know I'm going fast. I can slow down. And we'll review the ingredients in a sec. I had a question for you guys. How's the mic? Those of you who have watched a few of these, is the sound different? Are you hearing as much of the frying noise? I know I'm standing right over the thing here, and I want to see how it works with the deep fryer behind me. Okay, I'm actually going to go just a little bit here. Push my luck with the onions. All right, almost there. I diced my onions here, by the way. You could actually just chop them for this dish. For this kind of sauce, it's perfectly acceptable to have onion pieces that aren't. Camera's oh good. I'm glad the camera. Yeah, I switched over to my new camera, my new lens completely. I kind of worked out a couple of bugs. The main reason I didn't do the new lens before is it's quite a focal length really long, so it's really far back. Shotgun mic was sitting on the camera, so it was picking up like the whole room. So it's one of the reasons I've switched over to this mic. See how it goes. Okay, so we raced through our onions. You don't have to do it this fast. Get some tomatoes and the juice. A can here. Of course, I'm using the classic Mexican San Marzano tomato. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so now this is going to have to reduce for a bit. I'm going to put this on the stove. But this is basically it. Oh, we should season it a little bit here. So I'll season it at the end. Again, when you're seasoning your sauces, especially ones that are going to reduce and get more concentrated, don't oversalt them. Now, I have a rough idea of what my base level of salt is going to be for this amount of sauce. So I'm going to put in the base now, and then we'll fine tune it. We'll fine tune it. All right, go over there. Any questions on speed tomato sauce? Okay, great. So let's move on. So the next thing is I'm going to be using the deep fryer for this. So I'm using a deep fryer, and you don't have to. You could just as easily do this, the recipe in like a big cast iron skillet thing. This is a 12-inch skillet. If you can find, they don't make it, but if you're ever in an antique market and you see what are they called? They're called like chicken roasters or something. It's basically this size cast iron pan, except the sides are much higher. They are fantastic. If you ever see one of them, grab it. But you could definitely do this dish in a cast iron pan, not a deep fryer. Now, I have a deep fryer. Oh, I'm also on a leash tonight. Forgetting. I got the wire from Mike. Okay, I have a deep fryer and we're going to use it. So one of the things you need to do is to prep your peppers is we need to blister them and then peel them. I'm just going to do 2. And when you're shopping for your poblanos for this recipe, try and find ones this shape. Make your life a little bit easier. It's like sort of flat, narrow. This is going to be a really good one. Pickings were kind of slim. I went to Loblaws. Now, to give Loblaws some credit, they were the only ones who had poblano pepper. And although they were priced as if they were plated in gold, they were the only game in town. So this one, I'm going to use this one as well. So you can blister your peppers in a whole bunch of different ways. You could do it under the broiler. You could do it over, I could wave it over the flame of the stove here. But since I have the oil hot already, you can also blister them in hot oil. So I'm just going to drop the oil and maybe just a couple of minutes aside, and we'll be able to do another test on the mic, see if it picks up the deep fryer. I was expecting more of a hiss, I gotta tell you. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, any questions on? Wow. Okay. Gonna want my oil shield here. I'm actually gonna mine these guys while we do this because it's now spraying hot oil everywhere. Just give me a second. So we can see how fast these blistered up already. Not quite ready yet, but it's not going to take long. It's good, because this is actually kind of scary. Okay, it seems to be settling down a bit. Cheers. By the way, you can do this. You can do this with all kinds of different peppers. Poblanos are definitely traditional, but if you wanted a little more heat, you could use a big jalapeno. You can use Anaheims, and I think an Anaheim's the same thing as a New Mexican chili. You could use banana chilies. Any pepper that's more or less about the right size is going to work great. We're sticking with the traditional tonight because they had them. So I'm going to flip these guys over. There we go. I mean, I thought they were, Rebecca. Poblanos. Rebecca's asking if poblanos are easy to find, and up until today, they have been. I went to several stores, and on a tip from my brother, he told me Loblaws had them. I'm not sure about a bell pepper. A bell pepper, I think the pepper needs to be flatter. A bell pepper is going to be really challenging to blister, and you'll see as we get towards the end, we have to batter these and fry them. It might be a little bit challenging with a bell pepper. Okay. We can go through a couple of the other ingredients while we're waiting on the peppers. We have, they're going to be stuffed with cheese tonight, which means they're vegetarian. This is a Mexican melting cheese. This is called asadero, and you can use any kind of melting cheese here. I'm using asadero. You could use CO, you could use Wawa, yes, cheese as well as a dog. You could use Monterey Jack, Rick, Colby, any kind of melting. We have a really great little Mexican market up the road, so I'm going with a traditional asadero, but any melted cheese is going to work. I mean, melted cheese is just great in general, so you're not really going to. Okay, I want these to go a little bit longer. You should definitely wait for these to cool when they come out of the hot oil before you try and peel them. I'm going to try a hack tonight and peel them in some water and try not to burn. We'll see when we get there. They look good. So you guys can't see this, but what I'm looking for is the skin of the pepper to start to split and peel, like a really bad sunburn. That's actually not that appetizing a comparison. You'll see what I mean in a second. Okay. So that's one. Got some good color. You can see. Can you see? Kind of. I'll hold it up to the camera a second. Okay, and so you can, I guess you can see that. Let's hook it up. And we've got some nice dark blistering on there. And hopefully these skins are going to peel relatively easy. Now, the trick with this is, since these are now ripping hot, is to do it in a little bit of water. Doing it in a little bit of water helps regardless, because it also makes it easier to sort of wash the skins off. We also have to take the seeds out. I'll cover that in just a sec. Okay, so let's get one in here. Ooh. All right. And I should do them both. There, it's not too bad. So I'm going to try this, guys. I've never tried this before. This is my fish scaler. Because getting the peel off a pepper is actually kind of a pain in the ass. So this is a fish scaler, obviously for taking fish scales off, and I'm hoping it takes pepper skin off the same way. And yeah, it kind of does. It's still really hot. but I'm not sure it's better than just finger. It's actually not. Wow. As I say, guys, when you're making this at home, you can do laws in advance. You probably want to let your peppers rest for a little bit before you dive right in there. And you want to go slow too. You need to be kind of like a little bit gentle with these. You don't want to pierce the pepper because you're going to stuff them and deep fry them. So you don't want holes in so your cheese isn't leaking out. So take your time, go slow. This is actually, and again, you can use the water to kind of help the peels come off. I can't remember. This was so long ago that I did this. I can't remember if this is easier or harder than last time. Definitely hotter than. Then you do want to get pretty much like, you can see now it's coming off much better too. Cool down a little bit. You do want to get off as much as you can. The skin's quite bitter and it's not particularly nice to eat. It's not the end of the world, like you don't get every last little bit. The ingredients in this dish are really simple. This dish is a lot more about like the technique and whatnot. But pretty happy with the way this is going. So any questions on like skin and a pepper? I think that looks pretty good. One down, one to go. And as I said, this is going to be a little bit of a longer stream today, I think. This actually flattened out quite nicely. This is going to work great. So you'll see when we get to the frying part. Whoa! Forgot that one hadn't been in the water yet. You'll see when we get to the frying part, there's actually two ways to do it. They're in Oaxaca, they do it slightly differently. You actually don't need a deep fryer for that method. So I'm going to show you guys both methods. The traditional method is like fried in oil, quite a bit of oil. I'm using a deep fryer because it's really easy. But as I said, if you don't have a deep fryer, you can just, does this actually work? Did I go the wrong way? I had high hopes for this, guys. I thought this fish scale thing was going to make this so easy. It works okay. And on a hot pepper, it's definitely preferable to using like your bare. Actually, you know what? I was just going the wrong way, I think. This is working quite well now. So if you have a fish scaler, feel free to give it a shot. It actually works pretty well. That actually took most of it off right away. Learn something new every day. Or I guess in my case, every couple of days. You hear my tomato sauce boiling away. Another thing, guys, pay attention to what's going on in your kitchen when you're cooking. It's not just what you can see. Sounds of you, you'll get to know your kitchen, how things sound, how sauces sound when they're cooking. I can tell I'm kind of rushing through this because I know my tomato sauce needs to go down a lot, but I want to finish this first. I don't know if you guys can do the sauce, but your kitchen will tell you what's going on. Food will tell you what it's doing. You listen, makes your life. Okay, so there we go. That's two of them. Let me get rid of this. And also get on my tomatoes. Okay. Any questions? Now I do want this tomato sauce to reduce quickly. I almost want to reduce this to the, before I thin it again, which sounds a little weird, but it really does develop flavor. I want to reduce this to the consistency almost of tomato. So now we have to get into these peppers. I want my water back. So the next step is to get the, you have to de-seed them. We're going to do that by cutting in the side here. Very careful when you're doing this. Now you've got to be careful. You don't want to cut cut through the whole pepper. And this guy actually has almost no seeds, which is so nice. So poblano peppers don't have a lot of seeds. And this guy has very few, and you can just kind of use the water to rinse the seeds out. he's kind of done. Again, the seeds are bitter. Having one or two left behind, not going to be the end of the world. That looks great, actually. One down. And I'm going to go in the top of this. Maybe you. Again, be careful you don't cut all the way through both layers of the pepper. Probably also easier with a paring knife. You guys don't need to use a big chef's knife for that. And again, you can see like there's almost no seeds in this guy anyway. If there is a lot of seeds up here at the top, stick your fingers in and you just kind of pinch it. If you just squeeze this part, you'll loosen all the seeds from the stem. Be careful about pulling on that stem because it has a habit of just ripping the pepper apart. Too rough. But I think we're okay. Okay. Little pepper surgery coming up. Okay. Any questions? This is actually going faster than I thought. I thought it was going to take forever. Okay, so now they get stuffed. And I'm going to start with this one. This guy I'm going to save for the other method. So the stuffing is really easy. Grab a chunk of cheese, and you kind of want to shape it into like, well, the inside of a pepper, I guess, for lack of a better, kind of like a long torpedo thing. And don't be shy with your cheese. Get as much in there as you can. Now you have to close the seal. Just close the seal. Close the edge of the pepper. I'm going to use this is just a bamboo skewer, well, half of one. And if you guys have ever sewed, you're basically just gonna like stitch it closed like that. There you go. Obviously, the skewer part is not edible. That's one. Let's get this guy stuffed. So there's two ways to do this. The first one we did like an edge cut, and I stitched up the edge. If you do the top cut, and it's totally up to you, I really don't think it matters. Although I'm sure on some food forum somewhere, they argue bitterly back and forth about whether you should be a top cut pepper guy or a side cut. But I kind of feel like I don't really. So this one, if you're going to be a top cut pepper person, I don't side with it. Have any allegiance for top or side cut. You need to overlap it like that. And again, once overlap, like stitch through it all the way to the end. And we're gonna go, that's annoying. I missed the first stitch. And I have to start over at the beginning. No, now it's just tearing. Okay, I should have, sometimes when you just leave well enough alone, that was one of those times. There we go. I got 2 stitched peppers. Any questions on pepper surgery? I feel like that's pretty straightforward. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break while I just clean up here. Don't need the fish scaler. I'm going to steal a toothpick and kind of nail this one down here. There we go. Okay, moving on. Almost. Okay, so the interesting thing about this batter, these get battered, and this is kind of a cool technique. It's probably a batter that you're not familiar with. It's almost like a souffle batter. And I'm going to have to run the stand. I have my stand mixer here, which is actually under me, and you can't see it. I don't know how loud it's going to be, but The other part of this recipe is I have separated 5 egg yolks from 5 egg whites, which are in the stand mixer here. I don't know if you guys can see. Honestly, whipping egg whites is about the only thing I use this thing for anymore. These are great workhorses, and I've used it for a whole bunch of things like kneading dough and stuff like that. But over the years, I found that, quite frankly, doing it by hand doesn't really take that much longer, way less to clean. However, whipping egg whites by hand, especially the stiff peaks, not fun. So I'm going to use it for that. So let's get that going. And if I can get some feedback on just, right, Serena uses it to make amazing brownies. And I was talking about me. I was thinking about how much I use it. I know you still use it. And I did use it to make chocolate. Remember? Okay. Now, let's get this. I hope this isn't too loud. If it's really loud, somebody yell out in the chat, and I'll kill the mic. This would be a good time to ask questions if you can even hear me. All right, let's see if we're at stiff peaks here. Not quite. Not quite. You know, I'll just run just a second more. Okay, definitely stiff peaks. Who doesn't like stiff peaks? Okay, so before we move on from, you have to fry the peppers first. Or do you mean, Rebecca, to remove the skins? Get back to me on that. I have never tried to boil them. I either do them over an open flame under the broiler or in the oil. Whatever method you want to get the skins off is probably going to be fine. I don't honestly know about boiling. I think I would not. I don't think they're like tomatoes. I don't think they're going to shed their skin the same way. Give me 2 seconds here, guys. So my tomato sauce looks great. I'm very happy with this. But I want to talk a little bit first about whipping egg whites. There's a couple of tricks to whipping egg whites. When you're separating egg whites, if you get even a little bit of yolk in with your whites, you have to take it out before you start whipping, or they won't whip up properly. Egg yolks are an emulsifier. Not doing an emulsification here, it will make your life very, very hard if you're trying to do it with a little bit of yolk in. And also, I mean, this should go without saying, but it doesn't always around here. Your bowl, mixing bowl, needs to be extremely clean. Not just from a sanitary point of view, but if there's even if there's a little bit of oil or residue in your bowl, you're going to have a tough time with it. However, I didn't do any of those things. We have nice stiff peaks. Really happy. So let's continue with making the batter here, and we're going to go with. So you want to very carefully just fold in your egg yolk from before. So the kind of nice thing about this is you're not wasting. I mean, I always find twice, but you know, when a recipe calls for one or the other, but not both. In this case, we're getting maximum utilization out of them. Okay. I'll fold them in. Keep it. You want to keep it delicate. You just spend a lot of time and effort making this nice and airy. So go slow. Be gentle with it. And then the other thing we're going to add to this is a couple of tablespoons of flour. I mean, Serena, probably. No, you know what? I think I'm done. Oh, I had a yolk on the bottom. Get that guy there. I think I'm done because now we're into the folding stage. Really got to pick this guy off the bottom. There we go. Okay, before I overmix this, I got a couple tablespoons of flour here. This will help the batter hold its shape, and it'll help it adhere to the peppers. We're also going to dredge the peppers in flour too. In terms of how many, this is 5 eggs because I'm just doing 2 peppers. But honestly, I think you'd have enough batter. I think 6 eggs will do 4 pretty easily. I wanted to have a little extra batter for some wiggle room in case I screwed something up. It's been a while, but I'm actually pretty happy with the way this looks. Okay, any questions on a souffle batter? Now I could actually just pop this into a ramekin and put it in the oven and have a souffle. You grate cheese into this. Not the goal for tonight, but you can do that. Okay, I'm going to try a little bit of my macaroni before we go on. Now we're getting into the serious stuff. Okay, actually, before I forget, let's thin out the sauce. So you can see here my sauce is reduced quite a bit, and I'm just going to give it a little bit of stir here. You don't need to puree this. I've just used the whole tomatoes and let the heat break them down. You can if you want, but I'm going with the old rustic credo tonight. That because I don't feel like chopping them up. So anytime you don't want to chop something or puree something and you want to leave it chunky because you don't have enough time, you call it rustic, and you're good to go. And again, this is about this. This is you want a kind of a soupy tomato sauce for this. We're just gonna pour this onto the plate and place the oregano right on top. And I'll show you the other method. How I'm gonna do this. I'm probably gonna do one, and then we'll do the taste test, and then I'll show you the other method as well. Oaxaca method, which is less popular unless you're in Oaxaca. In case that's do it. Okay, I'm gonna let that reduce a little bit more. Yeah, you don't have to have a blender. I have a blender, and I rarely pull it down anymore. So which one do we do first? I kind of feel like this one's going to be better in oil. Now, I'm going to make sure. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I have to be able to turn around and get into the thing. But this is very straightforward. We're just... hang on. I want to do that. I do want to dredge these first. Although, God, it really stuck well anyway. So you are supposed to dredge these in a little bit of flour. I mean, that's what I do for the chicken with 40 cloves of garlic. I don't know, that gets minced up. Okay, sorry guys. Let me just cover for that little brain fart and get some flour going here. I'm a little mindful of the wire. I'm kind of thinking should have gone wireless for this mic. However, it's always an adventure, right? We do want to dredge these in flour. This will help your batter stick. Although, as you can see, like batters seem to be sticking just fine. So let's do it right. Let's do it. Okay. Now into the souffle batter. Wow. Okay. This is the weirdest batter, I gotta tell you. And I'm sure there's a trick here, which I don't know, for getting this out without getting the batter all over. Okay, perfect. I'm just gonna go straight into the oil with this, very semi-carefully. Okay, kind of a qualified success there. I can see that the, you guys can't see, but I can see that the batter hasn't completely adhered to the side that's facing me. So we'll see how it goes. And anyone want to call it a time? I'm figuring 2 minutes and 22 seconds for that to go. In the meantime, let's dredge this other one. You can, by the way, do all of this in advance, including frying them, and then heat them up and serve them. So if you don't, because this is like, there's a lot of steps here, and the timing is kind of important. So if you're worried about that, you're making this for company or whatnot, you can definitely prepare it in advance. It sounds good. It sounds good. I'm going to give this guy a flip and see where we're at. Or just have a peek. Oh, he looks amazing. No, it looks really good. Okay, so the thing is, you want them to be in the oil long enough to obviously melt the cheese inside. So the other thing too is, if you want to make your life a little bit easier, oh, is the sound better? So, okay, guys, I had the deep fryer going, but let me know, let me know how that's going. I'm glad this sounds better. Having said all that stuff, which I was saying, you do want the cheese inside to melt. If you want to make your life a little bit easier too, and I didn't do it because we didn't have time, you can squish these a little bit and put them in the freezer for like an hour. It makes it way easier to bread when they're like stiff and solid. I didn't do that and kind of paid the price on one side, but this side looks good, so I'm going to serve it like presentation side up. No, it looks great. Sorry, I wish I could do this under the camera. One of the things I've learned over the year or so, over a year now, of doing these streams is that the overhead camera does not like battered in oil all the time. Okay. So another thing you can do to, so if you're doing this in a pan, okay, but it's not, remember Rebecca before, you just overwhelmed everything. You can also baste your relleno. So here I'm just pouring oil over the top. You would want to do this especially if you were cooking it in a pan. It looks delicious. Okay, Rebecca, that's really good news, because honestly my goal for this mic was simply to cut out some of the kitchen noise. Okay, so this is, I think we're ready to plate this guy. Let's, so what we're gonna do is, I mean, part of that's the noise gate. I'm gonna plate this one, and we're gonna do a taste test, and then Serena's gonna come out and get this one and eat it, and then I'm going to do the other presentation. Does that sound like a good plan? That sounds like a good plan. So, and again, you want you want a very thin tomato sauce, just like spread out, like almost like a risotto. And then we want to like lift this guy over. Look at this. Oh, wow. Okay, this is insanely hot. But anyway, guys, so there you go. I gotta say, this looks better than when I made them before. Grab a couple of knives and forks here. I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out, I gotta say. It's definitely a very appealing looking dish. Now the question is, did the cheese melt inside? It did. Oh wow, I don't know if you guys can see. It's like gooey, delicious cheese inside. Might have, no, it's melting even as I watch it. Okay, I'm gonna do one taste test of this so you guys know how it does. I do want to show you the preparation, because if you don't have a deep fryer or you are not comfortable with a huge open pot of oil on your stove, different way to do it. We're going to try that instead. I can even get this on the fork. It's so hot. That is amazing. That's really good. That is just I don't know how to describe it. It's like incredible. It's like a souffle with cheese and pepper. It's almost like an inside-out souffle. It's so tasty. The egg is wonderful, and the egg is so light and airy. And okay, so I'm gushing. This is gushing. I'm gonna do one more taste, and I'm gonna show you the other presentation because I know Serena's great. Let's dive in here. So hot. Okay, that's really good. I'm calling for Serena, so Serena can come out and grab this. In the meantime, and then we're going to do the other presentation. Preparation. There you go. I can't deliver them anymore because I'm tethered. Any questions about the first one? We're good? Okay. So the second one, I'm going to have to figure out a better way to run that wire. The second one is a lot, I don't know if it's easier. It's definitely different. What we're going to do, get a pan that's about that big. We're going to take some of our hot oil from the fryer. So the home viewers, don't use a ladle covered in tomato sauce and then dip it into your deep fryer. Probably wasn't the brightest thing I've done. No harm, no foul though, right? But I do need that ladle. So this is the other way we're going to do it. Okay, I really should put a cover over that. I'm going to screw things up. So here's the thing. If you don't you don't feel comfortable with a huge pan of oil, you don't have a deep fryer, you live in Oaxaca, this is how you do it. So we're just going to take like a big dollop of this. We're going to lay it right in a pepper shape. Yeah. Oh, probably should let that cook a bit. Kind of went down a little bit. All right. We're gonna have like a giant egg souffle thing. I'm gonna bring the edges in here a bit. And then we're just gonna cover the top. Now I have too much batter here, I think. But I mean, can you have too much deep fried egg? I'm not sure. And flipping this is going to be a real challenge. So if it's not immediately apparent, this is the first time I've done the Oaxaca method. I discovered this as I was trying to remember how to make it today. But it seems like a pretty solid technique. I think if I was doing this before, I put the pepper in too soon, I think, because it kind of like, oh, I think I got it. I got the delay. I think I got it. I didn't let the egg cook enough to support the pepper, so I have a feeling that when I flip this, it's going to be maybe bare pepper underneath, because the pepper kind of just pushed down through the batter. However, always perfect. Now the real challenge is going to be flipping this without spraying myself with hot oil. This one will also, by the way, be quite a bit darker than the previous one. Any ideas, guys? Kind of like, oh, there we go. Okay, so it only poked through just a little bit. And again, we can help this guy along with a little spooning action. Actually, not that one. This will be better. So again, we can just like, can I actually get some over here? Yeah, there we go. Help out cooking the top a little bit here. I may flip this back again in just a sec. Also, if you're doing this at home, find a longer spoon so you're not burning your hand. But I kind of... There we go. Just help it along a little bit. Let it heat up a little bit. And again, you can... Okay, I knew that was coming, Rebecca. I was very careful with the metal thing in the Teflon pan. I was gently lifting, not... Okay, actually, this is actually done. Funny how you can just hear something, eh? Oh, you guys got to see the other side of this. You got to figure out how to do this. There we go. Okay, give me 2 seconds to like decatastrophe my kitchen here. I think I caught this guy in the nick of time. Of course, it doesn't have any tomato sauce on it, does it? Let's figure that out. How are we going to do that? All right. Yeah, this one's these ones where you're kind of like, let's explore with Rob and see what happens. They're always fun, right? All right, get back to tomato sauce. Where'd my Play-Doh go? Oh, great. All right, do it old school. Zero points for presentation here. Clean up. No point in being too sloppy about it. Oh, that was excellent. Good thing I cleaned the counter. Okay, so we got there. We got there. What do I want to say about this? This one obviously has a lot of egg batter, probably too much. But as we already covered, can you have too much deep fried egg? I'm not sure you can. This also isn't, in terms of presentation, a super elegant dish. Crazy with it. So I'm going to dig into this one and see how it. I'm going to cut right. Oh, I'm not going to cut right into it. I put sticks in it. Cheese is not as melted as I want, but it's still pretty good. Definitely could have gone longer in the pan. So I think for this one, oh, it's all right. It's delicious. Guys, this is a winner. It's fun to make. It's fun to eat. Even it's like look even this side bit. I don't have pepper in here. I don't even have cheese, egg, and tomato. Great. Hot. Yeah, this is fun. I'm thrilled to pieces of this one, guys. This is just a really fun dish to make. This is this could be the vegetarian version. And another nod to sort of doing this in advance is it would allow you to have this beautiful color, and then just cool them to room temperature. And then when you're ready to serve them, heat them up in the oven, and that will allow the cheese inside. And the cheese inside is actually melting as well. That would allow your cheese to melt properly. It's really good. I'm really digging this, guys. This is probably going on the Little Blue Book. I mean, I'll make it a couple more times. But I gotta tell you, I haven't had so much fun making something, well, since hand-pulled noodles. Well, that's not true. I like everything I make, but this was particularly enjoyable to cook. And cooking should be enjoyable. You should really enjoy what you're making. It should be fun to make, and this was fun to make. Really tasty. And we're still under an hour. And that includes the Negroni. So again, this is something you can put together in not too long. Okay, so we can dispense with the watch it, Rob, eat part. I can get to that later. I've used every dish in my kitchen. And it's a little bit hazy in here. Got oil in the air. Anyway, guys, any questions on anything that we've done so far? I'm going to hang around for a couple minutes. I'm going to drink some Negroni. I'm going to have a couple more bites of this in case anybody has any questions. But I really think this is something everybody should try. And actually, having seen how easy it is to do with the Oaxaca method of just ladling it in and popping the pepper on, guys, how easy is that? It's basically just a big omelet with stuffed pepper with cheese, which is awesome. I'm happy. I'm happy. So if anybody wants to throw out an idea for next week while we're talking about it. Oh, it's a fish scaler. It's buried in my sink, but it's just for taking the scales off fish. Any fish scaler will do it. If you Google it, you'll find it. I can send Rebecca. I'll send you a link to the one I got on it. Link in the description below. No, I'm kidding. Who does Okay, well, guys, thanks for joining me. And I have some ideas for next week. I have been researching street food and things that I want to make along those lines. We're going to continue with Italian. I'm thinking of doing ravioli. I'm doing for sure. We haven't done a filled pasta in a while. Agnolotti is amazing, and I might I like lasagna enough to maybe just TV time. I know lasagna isn't super practical for stream, but lasagna is a fantastic thing to learn how to make, and it seems intimidating for some people, but it's really not. Potato gnocchi poutine. Okay, we'll try that too. Why not? Okay, guys, I'm going to sign off. Everybody have an amazing evening. Thanks for coming out and watching the stream. Love doing this for you guys. And I will see you next week when we will be doing